Hey, this is Jamie, and this is going to be a new feature that I'm starting since perhaps I will um, obtain a following. Who knows? Anyway, I write science fiction stories, not usually something I share with people. They're usually just for me. Here's a story, though, I'd like to read y'all, and if you like it, click the like button and subscribe and let me know, and I'll share some more of my stories with you. The name of this one is The First Time, and bear in mind that this is not me talking. This is the character in the story, and it's totally not me, but the name of the story is The First Time. I have something to show you, I told her. Come with me. I led her outside. We walked across the yard and climbed through the barbed wire fence that bordered the pasture. I took her hand and squeezed it tightly. She looked at me expectantly. I smiled and said, "Wait, we'll be there in a few minutes." As we walked without speaking along a path well worn in the brown grass, the bird song and insect noises fell silent in our wake. By the time we reached our destination, the sound of our footfalls was the only thing that could be heard. I stopped and pulled her back a little, as her momentum had carried her forward a few steps. We stood in the middle of the empty field. The gently sloping hills all around us created the illusion that we were in the middle of nowhere. The remnants of jet contrails that crisscrossed the sky over our heads was the only sign of civilization. I breathed deeply and faced her. I took both her hands in mine and looked into her eyes and smiled. Slightly taller than I, she had to tilt her chin down a bit to maintain eye contact. I smiled again, and she smiled back. She opened her mouth to speak, and I shook my head a little. She understood and closed her lips, a quizzical look raising her eyebrows. I took another deep breath and stepped into her embrace. I put one arm around her and reached up to pull her head down to me. I whispered in her ear, "Trust me. Trust me, and you'll be safe." She silently nodded her assent. I put my arms under hers and reached up to put my hands on her shoulders. I pressed my cheek against hers and felt her relax into me. "Don't be afraid. Just breathe. Just breathe." With those words, I closed my eyes and allowed my mind to sense the power, to access the power that flowed around us like an invisible river. I broadened my aura to catch its currents. It billowed and rippled in the flow and suddenly caught and unfurled, stiffening in the power stream. I tensed my body, bracing for that first exhilaration as our feet left the ground. Startled, she loosened her grip, but I was ready for it, and we rose together into the air. I could feel her heart slamming against my chest like a sledgehammer. Her breath was loud in my ear, and she cried out wordlessly, unable to maintain our tacit pact of silence. I, too, broke the silence and loosed the inevitable laughter that always accompanies these flights. I threw back my head and felt the air rush past my face. The joy percolated up through me and bubbled out, and I shouted with unbridled, exuberant glee. Her eyes, tightly closed in confusion and fear, flew open at the sound of my voice. Speechless, the only sound she could make was a single note, high-pitched and shrieking. I slowed our ascent and stopped, hovering 500 feet above the pasture. Her keening trailed off as she felt the cessation of vertical movement. I looked hard at her, demanding her attention with my gaze. After a moment, she was able to focus. Her eyes, large and darting aimlessly with terror, finally calmed and settled on my face. Her lower lip trembled, and I saw tears welling up and sliding down her pale cheeks. "It's all right," I whispered to her. "It's all right." I raised my head a bit and rested my hot, flushed cheek against her wan, damp one. Her body was trembling against mine, but her jackhammer heart was beginning to slow and soon return to a normal rhythm. We hung there, suspended, swaying slightly in the breeze that had sprung up in the late autumn as the late autumn sun inched toward the horizon. I tilted my head back and looked into her face. I saw that she had calmed sufficiently to be able to take in the panorama that lay below us. I watched her expression as it changed from one of bewildered disbelief to awe and finally to realization. Gradually, as though waking from a dream, she brought her attention back to me. Her focus shifted, and she looked at me as though seeing me for the first time. You're doing this? You're holding us up here? You brought us up here? I nodded yes, laughing. I am doing this. Do you trust me? Will you let me show you something else? I saw a fleeting expression of alarm cross her features. Then she jutted her chin out a bit and looked directly into my eyes. Yes, please. Remember, you have to trust me. You have to believe that it's going to be okay. Do you understand? I promise I won't let anything happen to you. As long as you trust, you'll be safe. All right? All right? Yes, I do trust you. I've never trusted anyone in my life as much as I trust you right now. Please show me. Show me. Listen carefully. All you have to do is relax and don't panic. I will not let you fall. You won't fall. I promise, but you have to let go and relax into it, and you'll experience something you've never felt before. Okay? She nodded. Ready? She nodded again. I loosened my arms that had been supporting her and moved back a fraction of an inch. I saw her eyes widen and her pupils dilate in fear. Remember, I told her, you have to trust me and relax. She took a deep, rib-cracking breath, pursed her lips, and slowly let it out. She closed her eyes and nodded. I extended and strengthened my aura as I loosed my grip on her entirely and eased back until there was about a foot of space between our bodies. I savored the feeling of floating freely. Open your eyes. Remember, don't panic, don't flail, just relax. She opened her left eye and looked at me. I laughed. Silly girl, open your eyes. She complied until I thought her eyebrows would crawl off the top of her head. Oh my God, she said quietly. The awe with which she uttered those words made them sound like a prayer. I watched as the skin on her arms prickled with gooseflesh. I took her hand and slowly backed up until we were moving in a horizontal trajectory. I wanted to let her get used to the sensation gradually. Any faster and she might throw up on the head of some unsuspecting passerby down below. As we moved, she began to smile. Soon she was grinning. At last, she began to laugh out loud, reveling in the sensation of free flight. I pivoted in the air until we were side by side, moving in tandem through the darkening sky. I changed our trajectory a bit, and we began to ascend. At 1,000 feet, I leveled off, and we continued to move forward. Where would you like to go? I asked her. Can we go to my house? She said. I chuckled. This was always the first place one wanted to go, to see home from such a radically different perspective. Are you okay? I asked her as I changed our course to take us to her house. Yes, I'm better than okay. But how? How can you do this? Have you always been able to do this? Why didn't you tell me before now? Who are you? What are you? Oh my God, oh my God. Suddenly she began to laugh hysterically. I slowed our momentum until we were hovering over a large stand of trees. I waited patiently until her raucous laughter subsided and she was sobbing softly. She reached up and scrubbed the tears from her cheeks. Sniffling, she took a deep, sighing breath. Can you take me home, please? She said softly. Okay, we'll be there in just a minute. I put my arms around her again and held her tightly. Close your eyes and think of home. I closed my eyes and inhaled deeply. I envisioned the driveway in front of her house and moved us there. Her knees gave way as her feet unexpectedly contacted the asphalt. I held her up for the split second it took for her readjustment to terra firma. She pulled free of my embrace and took a step backward. Oh! Was all she was able to get out before she turned and ran into her house. The door slammed hard, echoing down the empty street. I stood there a moment longer, looking at the soft glow of her windows, wondering if she would ever speak to me again. Oh yes, I decided, she most definitely will. This is only the first time, but not the last. Laughing uproariously, I turned and vaulted into the dark night sky. A pile of brown leaves stirred and twisted in the whirlpool of my trailing vortex and then fell back down, making a dry, scrabbling sound on the hard surface of the street. I loosed a faint wisp of laughter, and was softly shredded by a sudden gust of warm air. And that's it. That's my story the first time. Like I said, if you enjoy it, give me a thumbs up. Let me know, and I'll share some more of my stories with you. I'm really enjoying this medium of video to communicate with y'all. Thank you very much for listening to my story. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you will enjoy more in the future. Thank you very much. This is Jamie saying bye.